The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O, the R, the K. Look yourself in the face. Look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, are you giving 120% every day? Every play? Give me 120 or don't give me nothing at all. The guy you competing against, you haven't outworked him. You've not outworked the person next to you. You've not out-hustled them. You've not out-grind them. You've not outdone them. You're not locked in. Bring all your passion. Bring heart. Every single game, every single play. Put forth 120% or don't ask nobody to do nothing to you. The W, the O, the R, the K. The W, the O.
Hey guys, tap. What's going on, y'all? Happy Wednesday. How is everybody? Hope everybody's good. We're up. We're at it. We're doing our thing, man. I hope everybody's good. I hope everybody's at it on this hump day. We are ready to get into this thing today, man. We are in some very, very sketchy time. Very, very touchy times. Let's not even say sketchy times. Let's say touchy times. We're in some touchy times, man, when it comes to these markets. But we're gonna look at them today. We're gonna do our best to try to figure out where these things are headed. We're going to do all that good stuff that we got to do, y'all. So on your way in, make sure you tap that screen and keep tapping it. And on your way, when you're coming in YouTube and you're coming in X, make sure you're liking and sharing the stream as well, because helps me, helps the old algorithm, helps all that good stuff. So appreciate you guys, and let's do what we got to do, y'all. Definitely let's do what we got to do, and take care of that. Let's take care of that and make sure that we make sure we're doing our thing. So with that, what's up, everybody? What's up? Ken, good morning, my brother. How are you? We're gonna get into some stuff today, Ken. We're gonna get into it, man. Definitely gonna get into it. So I want to welcome everybody in, man. Scottish, how are you, my brother? How are you? I'm in the middle of figuring some stuff out as well. But over there on TikTok, as you guys coming in, start tapping that like screen, and let's get these likes up. Let's get these things moving. Let's do what we got to do today, y'all. And we're gonna get into some charts, some news, all that good stuff. Good morning, all. What's up, Scottish? I'm back. You back, baby? Let's go, Scottish. So happy hump day, man. Happy midweek trading. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get into it. We got the pre-markets over here. Let's start with the Asian markets. Let's see. The Asian markets, they traded okay. They didn't do too bad last night. They really didn't do too bad last night. They looked halfway decent. You guys can see over there on TikTok that they actually traded pretty well. They did okay, and not too bad. We'll take it. For where they were on Tuesday. The European markets over there where my man Ken is. He's trying to dump money in that market, trying to keep them up. But they're trading okay as well. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. The United States pre-markets, we look like we're going to be all in green. The S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ all look good so far this morning. So no real huge news to go over in the stock market. PayPal and their CEO, looks like they parted ways. It looks like they're going to get themselves a new CEO. NVIDIA looks good. All that stuff looks good right now. So PayPal got crushed yesterday, though. So if you want to buy the bottom of that, It's pretty close. It's pretty close to the bottom of that. We got gold in the green trading at 5,069 right now. Call it 5,059.69, somewhere up in there. Got silver sitting at $85.62 in the green, and copper down here at $6.04 in the red. But copper's the only one in wet red. We got palladium over here doing okay, but silver starting to inch its way back up after the big liquidations in metals the other day on Friday. So we got silver starting to inch its way back up. That's a big trade, y'all. That's a big trade over there in the precious metals. That's a huge thing, but not a ton going on in the stock market. I mean, it took a big pullback yesterday. They bled out just like the rest of the market yesterday, but looks like they're trying to rebound today. So that's okay. We'll take that. We'll take it. Got SpaceX probably going live here this year. And you know, they put their Grok AI inside of SpaceX, make that a little bit more valuable to go live with. So kind of like that as well. So I like where everything's headed, right? So we not bad. We'll take it. So over here in the cryptocurrency market, y'all, we got right now we are looking at Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at 14. Ooh, that's extreme fear, y'all. Right there. That's rough. That's rough. We got altcoin season right now sitting here at 35 out of 100. I would say watch out for this number right now. It's not it doesn't tell the whole story. So we got to get into the story to tell the whole story, right? Right now we got the cryptocurrency market cap sitting right around 2.56 trillion. Definitely on a down. You know, you look at this was at 4.5 trillion before at the height over here when Bitcoin was 126. This thing was about 4.5 trillion. So you're about 50% off of your high for that market cap, which is the market cap that controls all of crypto, right? So that it, contrary to what people may say, that is a big deal. You got the ETF inflows and outflows. Basically came in at a net zero yesterday. So not bad. We'll take a net zero rather than a negative, right? And then we have the dominance, and this is where everything gets good, guys, when we get to the dominance, right? We got right now we got the Bitcoin dominance sitting at 59.1%. Bitcoin's controlling the whole market right now. And then we got the Ethereum dominant sitting at 10.5%, and the rest of the altcoins sitting at 30.4%. So a lot of people are holding, right? This is what this tells me. A lot of people are holding on. As the Bitcoin dominance starts to come up, the Ethereum dominance starts to go down. The altcoin dominance starts to hold steady, which just tells me people are holding on, which necessarily may not be the smartest thing to do right now, but we'll have a look at that here in a second. We have the options, the longs and shorts that are open, 561.5 billion. You guys that know that this is way down because before we were hovering around $800 to $900 billion in the market. So that's way down from where we were. So that means leverage is coming out of the market. Basically, people are just kind of packing their bags and going home, right? So this is a good time, and we'll get into it. We'll get into a little bit of this, right? Right now, we got Bitcoin sitting at 76,000 even. Let's just call it 76,000 even. We got Ethereum sitting at $2,252. Ethereum, it's gonna, if we don't get a pump up here, Ethereum might be lucky to hold on to this $2,000 mark. You got to get some momentum in the market. which means that that market cap has to come up. That liquidity has to roll to the upside. We got BNB sitting at $748 right now. Let's call it even. We got Solana underneath $100 at $95.94, man. Solana took a big pullback yesterday, and we'll see where it heads, right? We got Solana taking a big pullback yesterday, so we'll see where that goes. And we got XRP sitting at $1.50, $1.59. It's going to be important for XRP to hold on to that $1.50 mark. That's going to be vitally important for XRP moving forward. So definitely have to get XRP to hold on to that $1.50. If they don't, $1.30 is definitely on the table for XRP. And I know a lot of people are holding XRP, so I don't really want that to happen to you, but it very well could. So we're looking over here at the bubbles right now, looking red on the hour. I mean, it's all green, but we got a red hourly right now, which means there's not enough money coming into the market cap to turn that green. We definitely had a red day. We definitely are on a red week. We're definitely on a red month, and we're definitely have started out on a red year, right? So call it what you want, but we are where we are, baby. We are where we are. Selmo, good morning, my brother. Good morning. Taking a look at Ondo here. Let's take a look at Ondo real quick. Ondo's got their summit going on right now. If you guys aren't tuned into their summit, then I think you're missing out. All the big power plays are at the Ondo summit, and a lot of alpha being dropped over there at the Ondo summit. A lot of what we can see in the coming in the future is being talked about at this Ondo summit. A lot of power players over there, man. A lot of people that are going to make the rules are sitting at that table. Wake up, everybody. More sleeping in. Oh, man. Selmo, you crazy, man. You crazy, Selmo. What's up, Selmo? How you doing, man? How you doing, man? Let's see. Yeah, there's so much hatred going on right now. Selmo's crazy, man. I mean, people are literally arguing over whether this is a bear or bull market, but there's so much hatred going on. It's crazy. But we like I said, I think we'll flip this hour green as we go on. It looks like everything's starting to try to come back a little bit, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, these are big deals, right? When we look at these things, we got to know where the market is, right? I'll tell you the one. We keep talking about this, and some of the ones that I'm looking at right now, and that I think are gonna make a run is you got Canton over here, Canton Network, sitting at 17 cents. This token just came out. It's only like 2-3 months old. So I like Canton Network. I think that they're gonna make a big run this next play. And you look at Sui. Sui's down to $1.12, y'all. $1.12. I'm telling you guys, like, we're swooping some of these prices for these tokens at 3-year lows right now. At 3 years lows, you got Avalanche sitting at $10.02. I mean, that's just craziness to me. Some of these prices are crazy, but I'll tell you why I'm not going all the way into the market as we start to move on. But I think that this right here is kind of where everybody needs to pay attention, right? So we got Bitcoin full crypto winner call, put in January of 2025 as cycle peak start. So you got the Bitwise chief investment operator saying that the Bitcoin full cycle winner, he's calling this a full cycle winner. He called January 2025 as the cycle peak start. That was the cycle peak start, January 2025. That's what he says, right? So what he's saying is right now that we're in the winter, right? We're in the winter. So that's a big deal because you got to know kind of where you are in these cycles and what people are saying in order to know when to invest your money. So he's calling to the January 2025 the start of the peak, right? And that now he says that now we're in winter, right? And he said that that's kind of when you start. Right now is when you started to see the Bitcoin, the ETF inflows starting to slow down, which is what we see over here, right? This is what we see over here when it comes to the inflows and outflows. You see these inflows and outflows start to slow down. I mean, yeah, you see some peaks here, a couple days of a peak here, a couple days of a peak here, but the majority of these ETF inflows and outflows have been to the negative side, right? And that's what he's saying over here is you're starting to see investors lose interest, right? And this is causing the Bitcoin winter, right? So when we look at this makes perfectly good sense about why we are where we are, right? So people love to pull articles about crypto, extended cycles and stuff like that. But let's just go back and let's have a look. Let's take a look about what he's saying, right? So we got 2025 right here, right? Right around January is where he's saying that the inflows really started for the ETFs, right? And Bitcoin was, really sitting right here around 82,000. The inflows started to really to come in over here around 40,000. But he says, they really started to come in January. And as you can see from this chart, as them inflows started to come in from the ETFs way back in January 2025, you hit this peak right here. You hit this peak right around 123,000, and then you made a second push up to 126,000, which was the high, 126.1. And then since then, the ETF inflow volume and investor interest started to take a downturn, right? And we're looking at the Bitcoin chart because Bitcoin controls most of this, right? So it started to take a downturn, right? So the inflows, the outflows were bigger than the inflows. Investors started to lose interest in Bitcoin, and then boom, you see what happened here, right? And then now, we are where we are, right? So boom, we're coming down here, and this is kind of where we are, right? So if you look at this from the perspective of just cycles, right? So this cycle started, let's look at this, right? We had the lines up, but then I kind of messed them up, right? So this cycle started in 2023, right? Because this is the 21 cycle right here. And then we had our consolidation right here, right? We had our consolidation, our consolidation. Now we're over here in 24. So when we look at this thing, started to come up in 23. If I extended this chart out, started to come up in 23. We ran to 23 right here, and then we got up into here right around 2024. We were here. We set this target right here right around 100, right around 100 and so. We spent 25 up on that second side, so that's 3 years. That's 3 years up, right? And then now you're on your 1 year down, right? And then you'll go 3 years up. So this makes sense. This makes all the sense in the world, right? So when we look at this is what it is. Blockchain on on blockchain, Bob is literally BTC. Bob is literally BTC. All right, man. The rise of XRP is a real thing. Selma, I don't know. I mean, we can get into it. I don't really technically want to get into it, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see, Selma, if it's a real thing. It's put up or shut up time for all of these cryptos, and all of these cryptos who claim they have utility, that claim they're going to do these things, it's put up or shut up time. No more excuses. There's no more excuses. There's no more wait until this happens or wait until that happens. Once the Clarity Act's put in place, there is literally no more excuses for anybody. As much as I don't want the Clarity Act to happen, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen. I mean, I had a meeting yesterday. These guys are trying to work this stuff out. And it's going to happen. And when it does happen, it is put up or shut up time for all of these blockchains. I don't want to hear any more about, well, we're not running because of this or because of that. No, it's go time. And when I mean it's go time, I mean I want to see on-chain activity, right? I don't care about your partnerships. I want to see on-chain activity. And if it doesn't show up on-chain, it doesn't exist. Because the only way that you're going to move your token is if you move volume on-chain. That's it. There's no other way. So, what we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Like, I'm not counting any of these blockchains out, whether it's XRP, whether it's Canton, whether it's AVAX, whether it's I'm not counting any of them out. But what I am saying is it's time to stop giving everybody a pass. It's time to stop giving everybody a pass. There's no reason for anybody to have a pass anymore. It's you're either going to show up and show out, or you're going to shut up, one or the other. And that's how I feel about these blockchains. Clarity Act Q3. Well, if the Clarity Act goes into effect Q3, you got to figure by Q4, people should be implementation. And then at least somewhat of an implementation. And then we should be able to see it on chain. And that's my issue with a lot of these blockchains, including XRP. But XRP isn't the only one. There's a lot of blockchains out there, right? I have an issue with is you keep telling us what you're going to do. Show me on chain what you are doing. Because I don't want to do this to you, but I could pull up DeFi Llama and I can show you the on-chain activity. And some of these blockchains, the ones, even some that were the one that's mentioned right now, is sitting at 143 when it comes to blockchains. So as far as on-chain activity goes, on-chain volume. So 143 on-chain volume, that's not good. You're the 143rd worst blockchain on-chain. So we gotta start getting that stuff on chain, or it doesn't mean anything. Clarity Act approved around October this year. Could be great. It's going to be great for the banks, and it's going to be great for just on-chain activity from big institutional investors. It's not going to be so great for retail. Typical BTC top there's nothing that's going on with BTC that's different from any other cycle. This is literally the same cycle on repeat, right? So, there's no extended cycle. There's none of that. Like, this is literally BTC cycle after cycle. 2 million supply as well. Yeah, I mean when BTC, I mean it's gonna it's gonna keep cutting its supply. But the thing about BTC, you guys got to remember, and you guys know I love BTC, is when cryptos get up here to this market cap, they're gonna have diminishing returns, right? So the fall down is gonna be a little bit softer, right? So you're not going to see as big of a retracement on BTC as you usually see. The fall will be softer, but you're going to get diminishing returns as well, just because it's going to take a lot to move these market caps, right? Even with Ethereum, it takes a lot to move that market cap, and XRP is in the same situation. You're sitting at $96.98 billion. It's going to take a lot of money to move that market cap, right? So, BTC sitting here at 1.5 trillion. You know how much money's got to come into BTC to move this market cap, just $5,000-$6,000. I mean, we're not talking about just a couple $1,000 coming into BTC to move this market cap. You're talking about a lot of money. And we can break this down a little bit, right? So when you look at let's say this market cap right now is sitting at 10 trillion, right? All right, let's go through this real quick. If that market cap gets to 10 trillion, BTC is going to see 5 trillion of that right off the rip, right? So you only got 5 trillion left, right? Ethereum's probably going to see 15% of that. So now there goes 65% of that market cap, right? There goes 65% of that market cap, right? And I'm giving Ethereum 15%. Ethereum probably will see 20, right? But that's 65% of that market cap, right? So you only have like, what is it, 35% to go through the rest of your altcoins, right? So then you come over here and you look and you say, okay, if we only have 35% left after Bitcoin and after Ethereum, well, XRP is going to eat up some of that market cap, a large portion of that market cap. Solana is going to eat up a large portion of that market cap. We look at, just this top 10 right here, right? After Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you get down to here. Yeah, minus the stable coins, you're probably down to here to Canton, right? Canton and Chainlink, right? These guys are going to eat up probably, you got 35 left. They're probably going to eat up another, at least 30% of that market cap. I would say 20%. Let's just give them 20% of that market cap. So you only got 15% of that market cap left to go down through all the rest of these cryptos. All the rest. I mean, just name how many cryptos are out there. You only got 15% left to go down through all that. That's it. That's all you got. So, you got to put things into perspective as well when it comes to dollars and cents, right? That BTC supply will be depleted. Then what? Price shock. If they buy up all the BTC and all the BTC, if the supply is depleted, you go into price shock. And what you want, that's when shit just gets gold. That's when stuff just goes ape shit crazy. Good morning, Curtis. Good morning. So, you got to put these things in a perspective, right? So even if you get a $10 trillion market cap, 65% of it's going to be eaten up in your top two tokens. 65% of that market cap. Think about it for a minute. So, and it's probably going to be higher. I only gave Ethereum 15%. Ethereum is probably going to take 20% of that market cap. The Junior, what's up? Hit that like button on your way in. You guys hit that like button on your way in. Let's tap that screen over there on TikTok. Let's get this thing up to crazy amounts of likes, man. Let's get this thing up to crazy amounts of likes. But you got the Bitwise CEO over here telling you guys, right here. He's telling you guys right here that the run started 25. Like this was the peak of January 2025 was kind of like the peak that started the big move up for the ETFs, and now they're in a winter cycle. Like there's just not interest right now in Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs right now. There's just not an interest, right? And that's even proven even further over here by the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index sitting at 14, right? So we're not just running off the lips with no evidence, right? So the Bitwise CEO says it. You can see it in the numbers here. You can see it in the numbers here, right? And you can see it on a chart here, right? So this is the Bitcoin chart we have up, right? So Bitcoin currently right now is sitting at 76,000, playing around 76K. This box right here is right around 75 down to 70,000, right? This key level, right? So if Bitcoin starts to mint candles down here in the $75,000 range, you've entered a new trading range, right? The trading range is no longer between 75 and 80. It drops between 75 and 70. This becomes your trading range, right? And we put these lines on the chart the other day, and this line right here is the line of no return, right? We put this line here. We said this is about 66,000. This one right here is the line that you have to watch out for, that when we get down here right around 66K, let me move this up just a little bit, 66. When we get this thing down here to 66,000, you start to buy the bottom. You start to buy the bottom at that point, and right around 66,000. Why is it important that we buy the bottoms? Well, let's just pick any chart on here. We'll scroll down here, and we're never going to hit the bottoms exactly, right? So let's get a token that's been around for a little while. Some of these are newer ones. So let's get one that's been around for a little while. Let's go with BNB. Here's BNB chart, right? And we'll change this to the weekly, because that way we got to scroll less, right? But we're classes in session, right? So, here's the thing: is like we're done. We're done, y'all. With we'll go with the monthly chart. We're done with the craziness, right? We're done with the ridiculousness, right? You guys come here for truth. Well, we're gonna get some truth today. So this is a monthly chart on BNB, right? Oh, this isn't a good one. They don't have it. They don't have it going back far enough. Get the monthly chart on BTC. What the fuck? Why not? We'll just stick with BTC, right? So when we look at BTC, right? Let's get to let's pull this bad boy. Let's pull this bad boy. So right here, let me make sure you guys can see it. Right here. So right about here was 2023. 2013, right? So we had this massive run up, right? Right here. What happened? This thing came down, traded sideways, right? So if you would have just waited, if you would have sold somewhere up in here, because nobody's good enough to call a top, you would have just waited here. You would have been good. Instead of DCAing down and feeling all of this pain right here, all of this pain, just knowing that there was some support right here, right? And that this is kind of where right here, this is kind of where we were going to trade sideways, right? Then you would have been good. And then right here, like here's your cycle top, right? We marked these out, right? So here's your top back in right around 17, right around December 17, right? There was your cycle top, there was your run, here was your top, right? So you came down, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna prove this to you guys here. So here was your top, and here was your top of this run right here, right? And this is 2022, right? So this is the run of 21-22, right? So here's your top of the prior run of 2027, right? So what happened? This thing came right down to the top. It ran right up in 2021, 22 to its all-time high. Where'd it come? It came right down here roughly to about the floor of the old all-time high became the floor of the new all-time high, right? So if you would have just waited to deploy your capital, right, up into here, up into this area over here, you wouldn't have had to feel all of this pain on the downside, right? You wouldn't have had to feel all that pain, right? You would have started the DCA somewhere up in here, waited, hit that floor, and boom, now you're already in profit, right? So let's look and see kind of where we are now. Let me see if I can blow this up, right? So here we are in 2025 right here. So your all-time high set, it's blase blah, it is what it is, right? So here's your floor. Your floor, let's blow this bad boy up here for you so you guys can see this live and in color, you know. That's not going to be accurate anymore. But anyways, so there's your old all-time high, right? Let me just take this one out of here since I messed it up. So there's your old all-time high right there from 2021. The floor for this bull run says it's going to be 65K, which is why we have that line down there at 66, right? So when we look at this thing, right, where we're at right now, this is the monthly chart. So each one of these candles represent 1 month, right? They each represent 1 month, right? So right here is a nasty resistance line right around 71,000, right? So which is why I have that box where it is, right? Because I'm giving the ETF some credit, right? What's up, Heat? What's up, Heat? What's up, Heat? Because I'm giving the ETF volume some credit, right? And I'm giving some credit to, you know, the Michael Saylors of the world and all that stuff to have a lot of this BTC locked up, right? So if the floor is here at 65K, 66K, depending on what you're looking at, and you got a resistance line here at 71, doesn't that box between right here at 75 to 70 make sense of kind of where you may want to start to dip your toe back into the market? Well, here's the thing. If you do that right around 70 to 75K and you just kind of dip your toe in, you don't go in all the way, because you should have been out of the market up here, somewhere up in here. You should have been out of the market, right? But 75 to 71K, now you come down here and you're hitting this floor at 65,000, right? So it's only a 10,000 dip. So you're not feeling all of this pain, right? You don't feel all this pain on the way down. And let's just say that Bitcoin drops down to 50,000, right? You're not feeling that much pain here because you're only dipping your toe in here and giving a little bit more up at 60, at 65. You're buying heavier. If it goes down to 55, you're buying even heavier. You don't feel all that, right? You're in profit a lot sooner, right? So you come back over here to the old run. If you would have did that over here, right, you would have waited until that floor was set right here, right? You would have rolled this down, said that floor was set. You only spent one, two, let's call it 2.5 months underneath that floor where it dropped a little bit lower before you were instantly in profit again, right? You only spent 2.5 months. But if you were DCAing all the way down, you would have been losing money for months. I mean, let's just call it between 12 and 8 months, right? You would have been losing money. So you got to know when to deploy your capital, right? So that you don't have your capital just sitting there, locked up, right? 66K is a stopping point. It could be. I can see us wick down, Curtis, a little bit below 66K, but I think 66K will be the floor. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Junior. But I can tell you what. Here's what happens when you don't believe in what's going on around you right now. Here's what happens. And we can pull this off of almost any chart, right? But Bitcoin seems to be the one. If you're just holding from the top to the bottom, you're down 40% on your money, right? You've lost 40%. You've lost 40% of what you put into the market, right? From not selling at the top, your bags are down 40%. Let's look at Ethereum, right? Let's look at ETH. Let's pull ETH. There's your top monthly over here. So it doesn't matter where you bought ETH. From top to bottom, you're down 48% from the top to the bottom. You lost 48% of your wealth. 48%. You've lost 48% of your wealth just by not selling somewhere on the top, right? So let's pull XRP. Let's pull this bad boy. This is everybody's favorite, right? So, and I'm not even taking the wicks up, right? I'm literally taking the close of the body. If you took the wicks up, they'd be these numbers would be a lot higher. Let's say you XRP got up to where it was and it is now. You're 44% poorer than you were if you would have sold at the top. 1 hour bull divergence. May end it here, and it very well may, Curtis, but I don't think so. I think I'm giving the ETFs credit, right? I don't think that this fall is going to be as bad as everybody is anticipating, right? I really don't. I don't think that we're going to go down into the 50s. And if we do, we ain't going to be there for long. I can tell you that. But I'm going to give these ETFs and Bitcoin and in the market credit. I don't think that this fall is going to be as severe. But make no doubt, we're not done falling yet, right? We're not. You know, we break through that 75,000, we got a problem. So here's your total market cap, right? So let's just look at all of your cryptos together, you know, so that we're not picking on anybody's crypto, because people get a little touchy when you do that, and they act like they own the damn crypto, like they're the developer or something. But let's just look at the total market cap, right? This isn't me. These are just numbers, right? So the total market cap has lost 31% from top to bottom, right? So if the total market cap, all the money in crypto, is down 31%, and this is the floor of 2024 right here, and here's the floor of here's the floor of 2023, right? So here's your floor of 2023 sitting at 1.21 trillion. And here's the floor of just like 2024 sitting at 2.2, sitting at 2.0 trillion, right? You're sitting at 2.5 trillion right now. What's the chances that we come down here and test 2 trillion? What's the chances? Anyone watching Beans and Bologna? I haven't looked at that chart in a while. 76 is exactly where I had it. Yeah, I got it at 75, Timsky. So we're not too far off. But what's the chances that we come down here and swoop 2 trillion? I mean, it's not. We were already here once. We already visited it once, right? I mean, we're a little bit above it now at 2.5, but what's the chances that we come down here and we play around, right? So, I mean, when you look at it, this isn't out of the realm of possibilities, right? I mean, you look at where we are right now, 2.5, right? And you look and you say, we're at 2.5 right now. We're sitting on what once was support, right? Now becomes resistance. I mean, it was support here. So we'll see if it can hold up to support here, right? If it breaks down up underneath here, because I'm a total market cap guy. I look at the total market cap. Like, this is all the money in crypto. Like, you don't got to be a fan of crypto to look. You don't got to be a fan of a particular project to look at this total market cap and go, okay, where is the money, right? So if you look at this, 2.5 is key, and that's where we're at right now. When you blow this up, right? This is a key support and resistance level right now, 2.5, right? And we're playing around with it, right? So when we're done playing around with this and we drop below this, we're done, because we will. When we're done playing around, where are we headed? Well, common sense would tell you, look at all of these gaps right here. When you have a gap, they will get filled, right? They will get filled. You may come down here and touch, you may come down here and touch 1.5, 1.5 trillion, and that I think is going to send us to 66 right here. It's right in the EMAs. It's about, call it 1.1, between 1.1 and 1.5. That right there will send Bitcoin down into 66K, right? If that happens. I know gold and silver is still up. Yeah, gold and silver is still up. It's still running, Timsky. It's not going to stop running either. And that's half of the problem, right? It's not going to stop running. That trade is going to go from gold to silver to copper. It's not going to stop running, right? So what I'm saying to you guys is, there may be a little bit more downside left, but I think we're closer to the bottom than we are the top, right? Look at Solana, right? Let's look at Solana on the monthly, right? We're on the monthly. These are monthly candles, right? So we're not even looking at the daily. $96.36, right, is where Solana sits right now. $96.35 keeps coming down, right? So Solana couldn't hold on to $100 price point. Why couldn't Solana hold on to $100 price point? Well, it's really simple. 2.56 trillion in the market is not going to hold up all these cryptos. There's not enough liquidity in the market to hold and sustain a run, right? And that's the problem that we're running into right now. Is you'll get a pump. There's no doubt you'll get a pump. I mean, you pumped right here, right? You'll get a pump, but then look what happens. You drop sideways, you go up a little bit, boom, and then you bottom out. There's not enough money to sustain a pump, right? 2.5 trillion is all that's in the market. That's all the money that's floating around, all right? For every single crypto, that's it. So believe it or not, I'm going to say something. Some people are going to disagree with it, and that's cool. It's actually better. It may not be better for your pockets, but it's actually better for the market, right? If we come down here on a total market cap and touch $2 trillion and start to build a floor there, than it is for this thing to go up right now. If it goes up, it's going to come crashing down, right? So here's your total 3 market cap. Here's your all of your altcoins. If there's only $1 trillion in your altcoins right now, outside of Bitcoin, right? 1 trillion. That's all that's left. That's all that's left in your altcoins. That's it, right? Amongst all the altcoins, the meme coins, everything, there's only $1 trillion in there. Think about this for a second. I'm just trying to get you guys to think logically instead of fanboy and stuff, right? I'm just trying to get some logical thought going on, right? 1.2 trillion. Let's say, look at where this market is right now. When we started, this thing was like almost shining. This thing is getting ready to take another shitter, right? So let's say that, I don't want to pick on that one, but let's say Solana goes from 96 dollars and 29 cents up to, let's say it goes up to $105. Where is the money in the market to sustain that run? Where is the money in the market to sustain that run? It doesn't exist. At 1.3 trillion, at 1.03 trillion, you don't have enough upside in this market cap to hold off the selling pressure that's coming. That's the problem. All right, y'all. You leaving me, Junior? Y'all like what I'm saying, Junior? So you leaving me? Come on, man. Come on. Tap that like screen over there on TikTok, y'all. TikTok. Tap. Junior's leaving because he don't like what I'm talking about. That's that. Don't do that, Junior. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't run. But that's the problem that we have right now, guys. Like legitimately, you know, with no bull crap aside, right? You know what I mean? No craziness going on. Literally, there's just look at 1.02 trillion. Like we just lost $1 billion. We just lost $1 billion our market. As we're sitting here right now, we just lost $1 billion. So what I'm saying, but this is what I'm saying to you guys. So it's better for us to actually come down and build some support in the market that we're already in. We're already in a bear market. I told you guys we were in a bear market since 110, right? Structure on Bitcoin was breaking at 110. I told you guys, I said, this don't look good. We're up out of here. We're up out of here. And it was what it was. But this structure started breaking down. You got somewhat of a doji coin right here, a doji here, somewhat of a doji here, right around one. This was 65. You had your run up. You started. It looked really good. This run up looked really, really good. I seen this right here. I said, oh, I don't know. I said, well, actually, no, I seen this one. Right around here is where I started to say this was like 105 right here. I said, guys, this don't look good. And then but I'm still in it. Right around here, right around was 114 mark, 113. Seen this monthly candle come in. I said, oh, guys, I don't know. And then we seen this red candle right here come in. And that's when I told you guys right here at 110, I said, I'm out. I said, I'm going to start leverage trading. I'm out. Structure's starting to break down. You're starting to lose steam. Steam's starting to come off of Bitcoin. And then what happened? You had another month here that just traded sideways. You put in a little bit of a red candle here. You kind of stayed right in this area right here. It gave you an out, right? You had an out. It gave you an out. And then boom, 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 boom. Wheels fell off. The wheels fell off. So when you look at it, it is what it is. We are where we are. We're better off coming down to this level right here at 66,000 or 71,000, wherever we're going to go, and building support rather than to just keep sucking liquidity out of the market, playing around. Everybody wants this big pump up so that they can get out of what they didn't sell before. But here's the bottom line. Even the Bitwise CEO is telling you we're in crypto winter right now. So, I mean, not the CEO, but the chief investment guy is telling you we're in crypto winter right now. So you got these guys coming out telling you we're in crypto winter. Like, what more do you need? What more do you need? Like, I mean, I can search the internet and I can pull up any articles to tell you what you want to hear. It ain't gonna do you any good, though. Not gonna do you any good. And look at the amount of leverage that's out of the market, right? Let's, we looked at, there was $580 something billion of leverage left in the market. How far down did that drop from where we were, right? We were $900 billion of leverage in the market, sometimes clicking, $1 trillion in the market. Welcome. Welcome, brother. Welcome. How are you? First time don't make it your last time. So welcome to the channel. So let's look at the amount of leverage, right? Let's look at our liquidation levels, right? So we got Bitcoin liquidation level sitting here at 74,300, and let's just call it $17. We got 335 million sitting there, right? Right there below us at 74, right? And look at the little bit of liquidations that are out here. I mean, there's hardly any liquidations left, right? And then above us, you're looking at 77 at $77,179. So when you come back over here into this chart, right? Look at the amount of so the market makers really have nothing to do, right? They're kind of on vacation right now. They got nothing to do, right? So when we look at this Bitcoin chart, right? So above us, your biggest liquidation level is 77,000, right? So let me flip this back to the daily chart because the monthly chart is going to be hard to see where we are here. So there's very few liquidations above us and there's very few liquidations below us, right? Yeah, I clicked the wrong button. That's a 3-month chart. We damn sure don't want that one either. We want this one. We want it on the hour. So here we are, right? We're on the hour. I mean, on the day. This is a daily chart. So right here, so about right here is your top side liquidation, right? Right around 70, right around 77 area. Probably right here, bouncing off of this line right here. So this is your top side liquidation, right? And where do we say your bottom side liquidation was at? Right around 74, right? So it's sitting right up in here somewhere, right? Right inside of this blue box. This blue box is not where you want to be. You don't want to play around in here. You play around in here, you better really start paying attention. Thank you for subscribing, man. Thank you for subscribing. You better really start paying attention if you get up in here. So this bottom side liquidation, we call it 74.7. Let's go back and have another look just to make sure. Right? So 74,300. Let's call it 74,300. Right? So 74,300 is the majority of where the liquidation sits, right? So So the market maker has more incentive to go down than it does up, because there's 335.5 million there sitting there at 74.3. And the top side of this, right above us, is 77,200, and there's only 177 million sitting there, right? That's it, right? So when we look at this, it doesn't mean there's more of an incentive for the market maker to come down to 74,300, right? So that liquidation level lines up roughly about a quarter of a way down inside of that box. Got to go dry. Got to go dry powder. You got to have dry powder right now. Right, Curtis? You got to have dry powder right now, because here's the thing. If you don't, you're going to take another haircut, right? So let's just look at this I'm just trying to give you guys some perspective, right? So from where you are right now to where this market could go at 66,000 is the floor of the last run, right? That's a 31% drop, right? That's a 31% drop, right? So if Bitcoin takes a 31% drop, you got to know that your altcoins are probably in for another 50% drop, right? Which I don't think will happen. Your altcoins may get to a 40% drop or a 37% drop or somewhere up in there, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that Solana could be revisiting 80K. And when you look at this, right, for what it is, right, we got to go all the way. Let me get rid of this. That was a trend line right there. So let me get rid of this. That trend gone. So from where we are right now, smush this down a little bit here. I'm telling you guys, your altcoins are visiting almost 3-year lows, right? So we'll throw and I'm just trying to prepare you guys. That's all. Like, some people will say I FUD the market, but just trying to prepare you guys so that you guys aren't out here getting freaking smoked when you don't have to be getting smoked, right? So right now, let's turn it down a little bit. But right now, Solana's as low as it has been since August of 25, right? So not quite a couple years for Solana, but it's getting there, right? It's getting there. August of 25. So just think about that for a minute, right? And some of your altcoins are visiting these lows, right? And if you got the wicks down, it even goes further, right? But I just go by the body closes, right? But if you look at that, 96,200, 96,100. It keeps dropping. Like, it's not getting more bullish, right? As the day moves on, it's actually getting more bearish as the day moves on. So I'm not telling you guys got to believe me. I'm showing it to you on a chart. I'm showing it to you on a chart, right? So Solana could revisit 80,000, right? And it could do it pretty quick. And when you come over here and you look, and we just drill this down right here is where I want to be. When we look at Solana right here, right, that's a big gap, right? And what do we know about fair value gaps, guys. If you guys have learned nothing else, what have we learned with these fair value gaps? If there's a gap to be filled, the market makers will fill it, right? And there's a gap there to be filled at $80,000, like 85, right? So if they fill it, you may get down to 80, right? If there's a gap to be filled, the market makers will fill it. That's what we've learned. But look at this. You know, you could revisit this. You know, Ethereum, where it sits right now, sitting on a crucial line right now, sitting at $2,239 right now, right? It's sitting on a crucial line. Ethereum can revisit $1,500 all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. When you look at this, right? Ethereum hasn't been this low since let's call it June of 2025, summer of 2025, right? So look at this ride that Ethereum has taken from 2025 all the way up here, all the way up here. Doesn't that look like a round trip? I don't know what a round trip looks like to you guys, but that looks like, damn sure looks like a round trip to me. So Ethereum could be looking at 1,500, and I'm calling it out here. You know, I don't really give a whole lot of price, I do give a lot of price predictions, but Ethereum could see all of 1,500. How long do you think the low will? I think once the low set, I think we're only going to see it for a couple months, maybe 3-4 months, and then I think we're going to start to make that move up, right? I think we'll start to make the move up, but I think you're going to see a move up like this. I think we're going to rinse and repeat this cycle right here on this move up. I think you're going to see a 3-year up with some, you know, obviously pumps and dumps, but I think you'll see something similar to this run right here. I think you'll see something similar to this. Let's drill this in here. Like right here, right around 2023, right? We started this move up. We chopped sideways for a little bit. We dipped back down. But on that second dip right here, look at what happened, right? We just slowly started to move up. Couple sideways actions here. We went on this parabolic run right here, which was a I call it parabolic, but when we look at it, it was roughly around a 14% run right here. And then we traded sideways for a little while, chopped up a little bit, traded sideways again for a little while, and then we went on this next leg to the upside right here, right, which was probably another 8 to 10% run. Came down off of that, tested the floor right here, made sure that was support, and then chopped sideways, and then we went on this run right here. And then we went on this run right here, from here to here, which was about another 19% run right there, right? So you had a 19% run. You had just a little bit of a pullback back to the moving averages, built some support here, and then went on another run to the upside, fell down a little bit right here, right? Fell down just a little bit. And then we went on another run right here, right? chopped sideways, and this was February of 24, chopped sideways, went on another run to the upside, and from this run right here in February, look at the run we had. We chopped sideways. It's about a 30% run right here. Chopped sideways for a little while, run down, run up, boom, and you just exploded and you hit the top. And then from there, it was just kind of down, right? So I think we're going to see another run like that, right? I think that's kind of where we're going to see. And then you see from that run how we just kind of we made another run, we chopped sideways, we came down, tested the floor, boom, made another run, right? And here was your big run. Here was your parabolic run. This is where Bitcoin decided that it was just going to take off to the atmosphere, right? Right there, which did the same thing. And then it took off again, right? It took off again and then chopped sideways right here. And then boom, took off again. But I think we'll see a slow, methodical run just like this coming out of that, right? And then we traded down for a little while. We tested some floors. And then boom, we are where we are, right? But I think that's the type of run you'll see. And I think it'll start, probably a couple months after we hit the floor. After we hit the floor, I think it'll start. That's the run we're gonna see. So, but it's going to be slow and methodical. Who's joining the army? Timsky, you joining the army, brother? But yeah, I think it'll be slow and methodical like that. So, I think we're going to be on repeat just like that. So with that, guys, you guys know I got to get out of here for the day. But the thought for the day is protect your neck. Because this right here looks like we drop inside of this box right here between 75 and 70, and we start minting candles in here, that becomes your new trading range. So protect your capital, and don't deploy everything back into the market all at once. You'll get killed doing that. Slowly start to deploy capital back into the market, and I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to start to slowly to deploy some capital back into the market very slowly when we start to test these lower levels, right? Very slowly start to deploy my capital back in. And because I want to be in profit as fast as I possibly can start to be in profit, right? So I'm not looking at DCA and into a falling knife. And this is what this is right now. Like, I don't know. You look at that chart. You tell me, is that a falling knife or not? Boom, 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 boom. That thing is done, cooked, over, right? So, and you got Bitwise coming out telling you guys that we're in crypto winter. ETF volume's down. On-chain volume is down as well. If you look on-chain, volume is absolutely terrible. The on-chain volume's down as well. So just sit back, relax, watch the show, right? Sit back, relax, watch the shit show. Watch everybody tell you that the market's going to rally from 75,000 back up to 130,000, and know that that's not going to happen. So just wait for these lower levels, start to deploy your capital into your altcoins and stuff like that, and then you will be sitting in profit a lot sooner than if you just try to DCA into this thing all the way down. So be smart about what you're doing as well. So with that, guys, we're up out of here. Appreciate all you guys. Boy, got to go to work. Got to take care of some things. Got to get some business done. We'll be back at you guys on Friday morning, 7 a.m. Be looking at the markets on Friday, seeing what's going on. But yo, get your watch list together and start watching the cryptos that you want to be in. Get your watch list together, and I'm telling you, they're probably between 2024, 2025 lows right now, and you're gonna probably be able to get them even cheaper, man. So just hold on, but make sure you got your watch list together. And I would only really invest in, to start, probably, you know, I'm only gonna go in with 3 or 4 cryptos that I'm really investing in, 3 or 4 altcoins that I'm really investing in, and that's where I'm gonna put probably 80% of my capital, because you can't be spread out too thin, right? You can't be spread out too thin, and you know, we'll see what happens on this next leg up, on this next bull run up. But yo, we're here for it, baby. We're here for it, and we'll see you guys on Friday. Have a good one. Peace. We up out of here. Hit that like button, hit that share button on your way up out of here. Bye-bye, yo.